guys. Hey, I'm Pam Grushock, host of Canine Academy with Whitney Whitaker. And yes, and we have our debut episode of the CORSO Academy with the one and only Tony Scandy of Scandifio, Cane Corso. Hey, Tony.
How you guys doing?
Good. How are you? Thank you so much for taking time. You guys, Tony is a busy man and he is actually outside doing regular work right now. So we are so grateful that you actually took the time to come on and talk to us. I wanted to tell you who Tony was really quickly. Who is Tony Scandy? He is an accomplished Cane Corso breeder. He is recognized in the Cane Corso community as the breeder behind the Scandifio line of Cane Corso. He has an extensive history in the breed spanning over 3 decades and is credited with producing more champions than virtually any other breeder in the United States. That's a
kind of a resume, right?
Yeah. So again, we are so grateful that you're on today. This is the foundation of Whitney and I's kind of relationship. We met through Tony, and we just really love his mission behind the Cane Corso, his mission as a breeder. Everything about what he does for the breed is something that we admired. So we wanted to kind of stand behind Tony and just kind of let everybody know who Tony was for the Cane Corso, right?
Yeah, my thought is, a lot of folks who've been in this breed know who Tony is. So I'm just working with a client right now that we placed a puppy with of Tony's. And I said, how did you find me? And he said, well, 18 years ago, I had a Corso. It was the best dog of my life. And I remembered the name Tony Scandy 18 years ago when I was researching Corso. And I knew I had to find this guy again and see if he was still breeding dogs. But my thought is there's so many new folks to the breed that have no clue where to even look for like good Corsos, right? And I just think it's time to showcase Tony and his work a little bit more.
Yeah. Because somebody like me that is a first time Cane Corso owner, we didn't know where to go. So I'm so excited to be able to introduce people like myself, brand new to the breed, Tony Scandy. Yeah. So Tony, welcome. We kind of wanted to get your story. Whitney, if you wanted to ask him a couple of questions, kind of, because again, this is the foundation of what we're doing. This is the foundation of the ideas of the CORSO Academy, and to really just help the CORSO community that we belong to get to know Tony a little bit, and and just kind of have a welcoming space for
ago than that. When did you get into the breed?
I want to say I got my first ones way back in, I want to say 88. I graduated in 87. So 88, I want to say 88.
Okay.
Got a couple dogs from the States, and then years later started doing some importing, just studying up on the breed for a lot of years. It's been a mission, trust me. It's been a lot of things that you couldn't imagine. I got more stories than you could ever imagine. What I like about you guys, especially you, Whitney, is when you came to me, you already knew a lot. You've already seen a lot because you're a trainer. So, one of the things that I preach, and I'll preach it for the rest of my life, temperament. It's number one. First and foremost, temperament should be first. Way too many unstable dogs, not just in Corsos out there, but all kind of breeds. Your Shepherds, your Dobermans, your Mals, anything. Poodles, Dalmatians. Many breeds out there. People just get into breed. It's all about money, mass produce. Let's put 1 million puppies out. Let's make $1 million. That's all their concern is. They don't know shit about breeding. They don't know shit about temperament. They don't know anything, man. All they know is how to make money and try to monopolize on something. So I've watched it for 30 something years. I want to say right around 37 years. I've watched it. I've seen people get involved in this, produce 10 litters and disappear and screw 1 million people over, owing replacements, on temperament, health, hips, temperament, all kind of stuff, but a lot of temperament issues. A lot of your big name breeders out there still to this day won't let you know that. They won't tell you, but they're breeding some really extremely unstable stuff, and they can care less. They got a thing in the standard that's written in there, aloof with strangers. and they use that bullshit word to cover up their unstable, fucked up dogs. Excuse my French, but it's just that's one thing that pisses me off when I talk about this breed. All these people out there that are just inhumane as could be, screwing people over left and right. They don't care about their clients. They don't care about their customers. Send dogs out there. They're making people keep them alive, not put them down, not replace them, biting children, biting their owners, biting their grandmothers, because they don't want to stand behind them and replace them. They know what they're breeding. They should just change their whole programs, change it up. So with you, when you came to me and you told me all about the issues that you've had, I had to laugh, and it's unfortunate. Come on up, come take a visit, come to my kennel.
And you did. My first interaction with you is incredible because, I always have a power breed dog around here, and I've done bite work and stuff. Just like I don't do it professionally with other dogs, but I do it with my own dogs. And one of my friends is one of the top police dog trainers in the country. And when I was retiring out my Malinois, I called him because he knows everybody, and he knows all the good guys, the bad guys, and everything. So I called him and I said, hey, listen, I need to replace my Malinois because he's getting old. I don't want another Malinois. You tell me what to get. I said, but I don't want another Malinois. We talked. And he said, get a Corso. And I said, I don't know what the Corsos you're working with, but I don't want a Corso. And he said, I'm telling you, get a Corso. I said, then you give me the best there is. And he said, you call Tony Scandy. And I said, okay. I said, I'll go with it because this is the top police dog trainer in the country.
Right. Oh yeah.
I said, okay, I'll get a Corso and I'll call this Tony Scandy. And I called Tony up, and this guy wouldn't take a deposit. He would, and he come to my kennel, meet my dogs. I don't care about exchanging deposits. I would care about getting you the perfect dog, because I know that you have goals for your dogs. You knew I wanted to do bite work and all that with my dogs. And him and I never met before. And my first experience with him was come to my kennel. And then we'll talk. And I just thought that was great.
Yeah.
Just, my thing was, I'm extremely proud of what I've done over all these years. And, there's a lot of people out there that tell you a lot of shit, and people that say things about different breeders. People talk about me, it's extreme jealousy is what it is. And when people like yourself, especially that are experienced, that are professional trainers, when you're getting a recommendation from some of the top trainers and people in the world, which is most of what those people that do recommend me and solely me for that reason, they know what they're going to get. They know I'm going to stand behind it. But, it's an honor to get people like you out to my kennel to see the dogs, because I know what you're going to leave and say. I already know before you leave here what you're going to do. You're going to leave here. You're going to be blown away. You're going to be like, people weren't full of shit. This guy's not full of shit.
Right.
Everything he told me on the phone is facts. You know what I mean? It's not a lie. Everything he said about his program, how ruthless he is with what he cuts out of his program, with what he'll use in his program. He's not full of shit. He's not one of these breeders that breeds everything that bleeds because it walks and got 4 legs. When it's got some unstable, horrible temperament, dispositions are terrible. And, that's not what I'm about. So, it's an honor when I get people like yourselves to come out here, you know what I mean? And that's what I want people to see. You're going to leave here and you're going to praise me to everybody around. You're going to say, listen, this guy's not full of shit. I've been dealing with him you've been dealing with me now for, I'm going to guess 10 years or more?
No, almost 6.
Almost 6, that's it? Okay. It seems like.
But now at this point, well, yeah, because we've just done so much work together. But at this point, I've got 5 dogs in my pack from your kennel. And as an average family pet dog trainer, and of course, because we're branded with the Corso and everything, we get Corsos from all over.
Right.
And just from my experience, boots on the ground, just family pet dog trainer. I always say a Scandifio Cane Corso is almost a breed within inside a breed, because the character is that much better than what I'm seeing elsewhere. And that's just the truth.
Right. No, I love what you guys came up with, the Scandifio difference. That's a great thing. I love it. I love it because it's something that I've always preached it and said it and tried to express it. But unless people come here or get one of mine and get other people's dogs, like I get people all the time that have gotten other people's and get mine, they understand it. But, you know, until you've done it, until you've came here, it's like, you know, some people think this guy's full of shit. You know, he's just blowing smoke because he wants to sell dogs. I don't care if you buy a dog from me or not. Like, remember what I told you? You're not allowed. You can't. Don't send me shit. I don't want no money. I want your feet in my yard, walking through my kennel, visiting with my dogs. That's what I want. I know what I have. I know what I have in comparison to other people. And, you know, I'm competitive in everything I do, you know, everything. Extremely competitive with coaching the kids, and not just so that the kids win games and win championships. I'm competitive that I want to know all my kids have developed and learned and got better at the sport, have become better hitters, better fielders, everything. You know, I still box. You know, I'm competitive. I work my ass off and train my ass off to make sure I don't lose. Same shit with these dogs. I don't want to lose. I don't want to fall behind. I don't want to be. I want to be a leader. I want to be the top guy. And to do that, I have to continue to progress my program and, you know, have the best dogs in the world. You know, I don't even talk about the country. I talk about the world sometimes. You know, like you said, the most champions in the country. I think I've produced more champions than any breeder in the world. You know, and nothing knocking any breeders across the world, but a lot of these breeders across the world that have been in this for 4 years and 6 years and less than 10 years, you know, they got these YouTubes and TikToks, and you know, the people think that they're these top breeders. Like, you deal with it. You got people that have bought these dogs off these TikTok breeders or your YouTubers that don't know jack shit about the breed, and you're trying to rehabilitate them and tell them, listen, I can't fix this shit. This is genetics.
Right.
It's mental. And like me and you talked, and I explained it to you, even recently with a set of my own pups that say, hey, you know, you want to take these couple pups, and I tell you, listen, these two are going to work fantastic. This one here, it's going to work okay, but you know, it's a little bit on the dog aggressive, you know, a little bit issues. You're more than welcome to take it, work with it, and you know, and you learn and you look at this guy and say, man, he called it on the money.
Yep.
You know, it came back. I put it with another breeder that's perfect dog for him, but not for you, for your program. You know what I mean? Like Mike Caparici, Goldenstead. I've been working with him for probably, I bet with him at least 25 years. And he'll recommend nobody else. He'll get a dog from nobody else because I stand behind it. And same with him. I've been doing it with him for that long. Every dog that he's gotten from me has worked out, been a success story. You know, dogs that have apprehended people in Canada, battered women that, you know, guys were, you know, making threats to them and apprehended them in their front yards, held them down till the police came. Real deal stuff, you know. So working with him for a long time. One time he said, hey, man, you know, I'm getting these couple dogs. I want you to send that fallen male. I'm like, Mike, ain't going to work. Nah, man, I'm a trainer. You doubting me? I said, I'm not doubting you one bit. You're just a breeder. I said, man, I'm a breeder that can train. I just don't have time to train. I understand everything about training. You know, I've done obedience, protection. I've done it all. But you can't focus on, I can't focus on training dogs and, you know, my own dogs, yeah, but other people's dogs, I can't focus on that. I don't have enough time in the day to do what I do or to answer all the calls. You don't have enough time in the day to do what you do as a trainer. So, you know, I told him, listen, man, it ain't going to work. Well, I'm going to prove myself. I said, you can take the dog and prove yourself all you want, man. I know you're a superstar. I know you're a super trainer, man. You train for all the, you know, the rich and the famous.
But
and
that's
the
your
athletes.
wheelhouse.
But I'm telling you,
pedigree.
it ain't, it's not going to work, man. He's a little bit, just he's got a little issue in my opinion. Well, you know, I think it's something trainable. Well, you can try it. Let's try it. He tried it and he wanted to prove me wrong. He worked his ass off for probably 5 months. And finally he said, Tone, I'm done. You were right. I said, you ever going to doubt me again? He said, I'll never doubt you again the rest of my life.
Along those lines, Pam, a couple of years ago, I called him and I said, I'm not going to mention breeders or anything like that, but I called him and I said, hey, I got this 6-month-old pup in, came from X kennel, and I had the pedigree because the owner sent me the pedigree. And I said, let's play a game. And I told him, you know, a little bit of the pedigree. And I said, you tell me how the dog's acting. Never saw the dog, never laid eyes on the dog. And he said, well, that dog's acting, you know,
XYZ.
XYZ. And I said, you got a camera in here? He goes, no, I just know the pedigree.
Yeah.
So I realized, and this was a couple of years ago, I realized that I'm like, this dude studies pedigrees. Like,
well, and I think that's even from, so this is so cool that, you know, you have a professional trainer and, you know, the breeder and me, again, brand new to the breed. You know, I had my experience with the Corso before, and I just told my story right before you got on, Tony, about how I spoke with you. I didn't give the whole story, but I kind of about how we met, and it was kind of on a whim. And I thought, wow, he actually took my call and he's still selling dogs. Like I had no idea. You don't post your dogs anywhere.
Right. I don't even advertise.
And you told me, you picked up the phone the first time I messaged you. We talked for a long time, and you told me, I don't need to sell you a puppy. I don't need to sell you a puppy. You want to learn about the dog. You helped educate me about the dog. And then I got to know you. You got to know me, and you picked my puppy out for me. And you said, I got this litter. That one's not going to work for you. I got this one. Let's hold off on this one. Literally handpicked my puppy for me based on who we were as a family and what we wanted as a brand new Cane Corso owner. And that's why I said, he wasn't trying to sell me a puppy.
Right. No,
like, I got all the people, that want to buy puppies. Like, I don't need to sell you one, but I think that I think you'd be a great owner, and this is going to be the right puppy for you. And we waited. So, and that was the key is just the honesty, the transparency, and, the true attention to detail. And again, my prior puppy, you already knew before, just like Whitney said, almost before when I told you the story, you could almost pinpoint where that dog came from.
Right. I understand. Yep.
So
and there's even great people like, and we're not going to name names, but there's even great people, like I told you, great people. But a lot of the great people still don't understand the depth that I understand because they don't do this all the time. It's not their life. This is my life. This has been my life for 30 something years, not some bullshit pastime, half-ass thing. This is my life morning till night, 6 in the morning, 5 in the morning. I wake up sometimes. Sometimes I don't go to bed till 5 and 6 in the morning and get up at 8 in the morning and get 2 hours. It's been my life for that many years, like morning, noon, and night.
Did you expect that it would become your life or take off, or did that organically happen?
Did I expect it to be my life like this? I wanted it to be, so here's the reality. I love doing this. I love the dogs. I love animals. I was young. I couldn't have a dog. My mom was dying of cancer. I had fish. I wanted to prove I could breed fish, and I bred the live bears, the easy stuff. And then, you go to the pet stores when I'm 12 years old and 11 years old, and these people are laughing at me like, you're not gonna be able to breed this. This is, these lay eggs. You're not gonna do this, kid. Okay, well, prove me wrong. Let me prove you wrong. I was doing it in 2 months, so it's something that I love to do. I actually bred snakes before, as crazy as it sounds. And, the breeders were like, oh yeah, selling them to me like crazy because they didn't think I could do nothing. Yeah, you got to settle them in for 2 years. And after 2 years, you'll get your first clutches. My first 5 months, I had six females and 6 clutches. So, it's something that I do love it. So it was not better than dogs. When I first moved out and got my own house, I got a Rottweiler. And started studying the Rottweiler and learned about him and wanted to get one of the best in the world and was willing to go wherever, fly over to Germany, whatever. And a guy named Jim McLemore, an incredible guy. I dedicate a lot of what I know in my breeding program and how selective I am from that guy. He passed away many, many years ago, but I spent a ton of time with him and learned so much from him. It's unbelievable. He told me to go out, go buy this Dog Fancy, Dog World, Dog USA, go buy these books at the bookstore. I go to the bookstore and buy all these books, and I'm studying these books and reading them. And hold on, babe, what's up? I'm on a YouTube thing.
Oh, are you?
Yeah, there's the little, that's the CEO.
There's the boss. There's the real boss.
That's the real boss.
Yep.
Whose dog is blue?
Mine?
Who's the rest of them?
Mine?
They're all hers.
Yep.
So you guys got to meet the real boss. Give me 2 seconds, guys. What's up, man? Are you ready to go a little bit? Okay, let me finish up this call and then we'll take off. Give me about 10 minutes. Okay? All right, babe. All right,
Thanks,
I'm sorry,
boss.
So we can totally leave that in, or we can edit it out.
You can leave it in. She's fine. She
That's so perfect because
everybody needs to know who the boss is.
Listen though. This is Tony Scandy, who that's what we wanted to hear was your back. How did you get into dogs? But this is a dad. This is a a regular guy that is just so passionate about what he does. And I guess that's really where we wanted to talk about today was just to meet Tony and to see where you go from. So you had a Rottweiler, and then where'd you go from there?
So then I started looking through the book that he recommended, and then I seen these Corsos, this Cane Corso, and there was 3 breeders worldwide, nationwide. Back when I got into this, there was still, you didn't even have flip phones. You had phones that were in a bag, you know what I mean? You carried them over your shoulder. And your phone bill back then, trying to talk to people across the country, was $1,100 a month, not $100 for all you can talk, or there was no such thing as that. So my phone bills, just even trying to learn, were $1,100 a month. And then when I started reaching over to Italy, $800 to $1,000 a month were my phone bills. It was insane. But
Wow.
I educated myself more than anybody in this country even could dream of doing it. Flew over to Italy multiple times and spent, 10 days, a week over there. People always ask me, hey, what was it like over there? Was it beautiful? So I don't know. What the hell you mean? I didn't go on vacation. And they're like,
Yeah.
you didn't go do this, you didn't go do that. I went on a mission. I was there going from breeder to breeder to breeder. Matter of fact, the one breeder I went there, we went all the way through Germany and Budapest, Romania. We were all over. And when I flew in, we were in Italy. It was snowing like in Ohio, like freezing cold. We drove all the way to Sicily. It's like going from Ohio to Florida, sunny as heck, oranges growing on the trees. So I seen it all. I had my hands on all the stuff over there.
Yeah.
So some of the dogs that I bought, the breeders over there were like, hey, this one, that one. And I had a translator, a guy named Alberto Veronese. Guy was a multimillionaire. He just loved what he did. He didn't need to breed dogs. He didn't need to do anything. Multimillionaire. He passed away, unfortunately, a couple of years ago. But he helped me a ton, and he spoke 7 languages. So when we'd go there, he'd tell me what they were saying, and I said, Alberto, I don't want those puppies. I want that dog right there. And he's like, hey, that's not for sale. I'm like, well, make some crazy offers. Let's try to get it. There was a dog, Tito, that I brought over, and that's the one Whitney asked me about not too long ago. They were trying to sell me puppies out of Tito, young puppies, 4-month-old, 6 months old. Well, you can buy, 4 of these puppies and raise them up. They're going to be incredible like him. Well, that's perfect. I got a really good idea. You guys keep the 4 puppies. Let me buy that dog, and I'll pay you what the 4 puppies cost. Me and another buddy of mine, way back named Jim, oh shit, how the hell can I forget Jim's name? Jim and Carol Wolf. Jim went in partners with me, and we paid like $15,000 for that dog.
Wow.
Bought him. And I was leaving the driveway, and then they finally came down the driveway. The guy's wife was screaming at him, yelling, "What the hell are you doing? You're gonna, the guy just offered you $15,000 US. Back then, our US dollars were worth way more than the euro back then. It was a long time ago.
And that's
back
what was that, 88?
Early 2000s. No, that's early 2000s. I started importing in the 2000s. Yeah.
Okay.
Didn't start really going over there till 2000s. Did a lot from 88 till about, 98 in America. You really couldn't get anything any better than what I had already had. Everybody back then had already, their thoughts were, this guy's got it mastered. He's got the best stuff in the world. Like he can't get any better. I had people that used to laugh at me, like breeders. Well, man, I can't believe you just paid $2,500 3 times this month to breed to that little ass import that this guy brought in. I'm like, yeah, you don't have to believe it. I mean, I got a mission, I got a plan. That little import was going to give me breed type. Temperament was phenomenal. Health was phenomenal. The guy that brought him over couldn't get the quality that I was getting out of that dog, but I bred him different than he did. He was Mr. Italian. Italian's got to be import. If it's American, it's no good. That's all bullshit. There's a lot of garbage over there. There's a lot of garbage in France, garbage in Russia. There's garbage everywhere. There's great dogs all over the world. So I took the great stuff that I had produced and I weeded out all the bullshit American stuff. And trust me, there was some bullshit American garbage. Rottweiler crosses, Neo crosses. It was a job to sift through the shit that these people did in this country. And a lot of that was coming from over in Italy that they had already started it over there. No different over there. They crossed in Boxer, Bull Mastiff. We heard it right out of the breeder's mouth over there when I went there. Do you want to see the papers of the dog, or do you want to see the dogs that it's really out of? Well, it's on papers, it's this dog, but this is the real father. He's a Bull Mastiff, bred to a shitty ass looking long muzzle Corso that didn't even really have papers that they found out on the farms. It's just how they did it. They did what they could do out there to try to produce what they thought was the best dogs. They were crossed up everywhere. Right now it's funny. I get all these people that send me these DNA things. I just got three of them yesterday from 3 dogs I sold a breeder, and they're all thrilled to death. Oh my God, it's 100%. It's 100%. It's 100%. I'm like, yeah, okay, great. Yeah, that's incredible. Aren't you thrilled? I'm like, no. Every person has ever done so far to date has come back and said 100% Corso. And they asked me, have you ever done one? I said, no, I haven't done one. I know what I'm breeding.
Right.
I don't care if that thing said I was only 50%. I know what I have. I know the genetics. I know the backgrounds. So sifted through the stuff over here and then went over there after that many years. It took that many years to go there for 3 years straight. We imported a lot of dogs. Me and a couple guys partnered up. We spent, I want to say the first year was like 40-some thousand. The second year was about 60-some thousand. The third year was over 70,000. Now that's not just me. That's me and like 3 or 4 different breeders teaming up, bringing groups of dogs over that I went there and handpicked. So, Tito was a dog that come over, extremely important dog. He stayed there. The deal was I had to pay $7,500 up front He stayed there to go to a big thing in January they were doing to prove that the Cane Corso could be a police dog and work in the police force. And I told Alberto, I don't care. Keep him there. Breed him all you guys want. When he can come over, he came over. I want to say it was late January or February. He finally came to America. So it was a valuable dog. You know, I brought a lot of dogs over that I had my hands on. I see a lot of people still to this day bring over these imports, and you just shake your head and laugh, and you're like, these people don't know. A lot of people that do that import shit nowadays, it's only because they want to be able to tell their clients, oh, I got the hottest shit. It's the best shit there is. You got screwed by the Italian breeder, sent you the shit anyway. The Russian breeder sent you their garbage. They didn't send you anything worthwhile. It's disgusting, some of the stuff I see these Italian, and nothing against Italian breeders. There's some good ones out there. There's some great breeders, some very ethical breeders, but there's some scumbags too. I've seen people send over dogs for 15 grand that were fully dysplastic and can't walk. Elbows, elbow dysplasia, hip dysplasia, to good people. Actually, that client of his has gotten, like, I want to say 3 dogs from me, healthy as could be. He treated a whole different way. Quality dogs, hip certified champions, just great people. Some great people. But I've seen some real terrible things happen to people from over there. Like, just like you, Whitney, the one guy, and we're not going to say his name. That breeder's been doing this shit for 2 years, and he's charging $5,500 for puppies. And I mean, it's garbage. He don't even know what the hell he got. You know what I mean? But he's Instagram famous.
And so then your average dog owner, see, this is the problem.
They got no clue.
This is why.
That's why you guys want to do this, and I understand.
Yeah, I'm like, listen, people got to know where to go to get good information. No, you love the breed. You want a Corso. Just because somebody has a crazy amount of followers on TikTok,
it doesn't mean shit.
Doesn't mean anything.
Right. Mm-hmm. Sometimes, I mean, that almost means that's exactly what it means. They're TikTok famous and don't know shit about dogs. They know TikTok, and they don't know the dogs are breeding. They don't know what they're producing from. They don't know the genetics on them. They don't know what's loaded with epilepsy. A lot of that stuff is loaded with epilepsy.
And that's what you've worked hard to make sure that this is why, and I did say the Scandifio difference. It rolled off my tongue because I experienced it firsthand.
It's great. I love it. Yeah,
and it was me as an average dog owner, first time basic Cane Corso owner, to visibly see, wow, that's a Scandifio dog. Wow, that's a Scandifio dog. You can see it first. It look.
Right, exactly.
But then also just to see firsthand the temperament difference and all of those things. So I wanted to ask you really quickly, if you had an opinion or on this, what do you think of the popularity of the Corso over the years? How has that affected you? Obviously, with the Instagram, TikTok, people are overbreeding, maybe that they shouldn't, and lying about it.
The worst part about that stuff, the worst part about it is exactly like you guys are saying, like you said, the TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. I mean, there's guys on YouTube that should never own a dog, but they're breeders and they're selling them like crazy and bragging that they charge somebody $7,500 or $15,000 for something that isn't worth. I wouldn't give you $200. I'd give you $200 to take it somewhere else. And they're using them in their breeding program, and they're just taking people for rides. They got them jumping through fire. Oh, the dog's jumping through fire. This dog's doing this. It's jumping off the back of a truck. Well, I mean, did you watch the dog gait? Because if you watched it gait, it's limping like crazy. So anybody with education would know it's just plastic. You got all these merles out there, and there's no such thing.
I just got a text from somebody today. It goes, oh, well, they sent me a screenshot of a merle puppy they saw on TikTok. They're like, oh, this puppy's beautiful. And immediately I'm like, that ain't breed stand.
Let me add him back in.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I got a call and it bumped me out somehow.
That's okay.
So we were just talking about, I was asking Whitney her opinion too on how she's seen the breed, but you kind of said like the popularity of the Corso. For me, I'd wanted one for a long time, did a little bit of research and all that. And again, found you, came to you, but it still has become wildly popular. And there's a lot of misinformation out there. So do you, obviously, every industry changes and grows and evolves based on, a lot of different metrics that are changing, social media or whatnot. So you think that the popularity of the breed has started to hurt the breed?
It's hurting the breed because of the people that are out there that are breeding. It's destroying the breed, and there's going to be loaded up in the rescues all over. They're going to be labeled as Corsos. They're not really Corsos. I mean,
Yeah.
some of these people I've seen, it's so bad that I've seen people, that were supposed big names. Their ancestors were big names that are getting dogs from dog pounds that look like it and trying to buy fake papers and hang papers on them. And, oh, they're going to be breeding this old line. That you ain't been involved in the breed for 30 years. Now you're going to create, you got this old line that your grandfather did. It's all bullshit. It's just a big bullshit. It's a money grab for people, and that's what they're doing with it. These Instagram, TikTok. So it's terrible for the breed in that aspect. The only reason that I'm even doing this for you guys asked me and you said it's a terrible thing. I agree with you. So you guys want to get focused to it and bring it out to the public and let people learn. That's the only reason I'm on here, and I trust you too. Like I've had many, many people beg me to be on these things, offer me money to be on these things. And I know why they're offering me money to be on them, because it's going to get them thousands of views. Oh, that's Tony Scandy. The only other guy I did it with, and I like him a lot, and I'm sure you guys are familiar with Joe Church.
I
did
love
it for Joe Church
Yeah.
because I love what he's doing. I
Yeah.
love his mission. It's not bullshit. It's not a scam. It's not miseducation. He made some mistakes and interviewed a couple jackasses and figured it out real fast, and he got rid of them quick as hell. He took the whole entire page thing down, but he was new. He was learning, but he's got the right mission, and that's what I told him. Joe, I got people that offer me money to do what I did for you, and I would do it for him again. I would get on his podcast.
I was say maybe we'll have you and him both on, especially as he's had a little bit more experience on here too. Yeah, he's a great guy. He's actually somebody that I had met, right around the same time I met you, and he talked you up so much. So great guy, so helpful, and just in it for the breed like you are. And that is really our mission is here. And like Whitney as a trainer, but really for people like myself and that really need to know where to go, because
I know
we love the dogs, and and we want to know where to go to get the right dog and the right information, and we hopefully will better that path through opening up this conversation and this door, and really highlighting you and somebody that doesn't have time to be on social media. And, I'll tell you, Whitney, she's on it a little bit, but she also does not have a lot of time to be on social media. So she's out working
for you guys anytime, and I apologize.
Thank you so much for your time today. And we really can't wait to continue these conversations here with the Corso Academy, featuring Tony Scandy right here on the Canine Academy. And you, again, are the foundation of our friendship, mine and Whitney's, and the foundation of our mission behind this entire project of bringing you on the front line and really educating people that want to know about the Cane Corso and get the right information out there. So thank you so much.
Thank you guys for having me. And anytime you guys want me on, I'll jump on with you guys for sure.
Yeah. We love you, Tony. And thanks for all that you do.
All right, guys. Thank you guys.
All right. Bye. Bye. Wow. That was awesome. Whitney, Tony actually had a chance to jump on, he's so short for time, but I cannot wait for more conversations with him on here to just highlight all the things. And I really hope people ask
wealth of knowledge, man. Like he is just so full of knowledge about this breed. So really
I'm excited. And to have a place to get to know Tony himself, because a lot of people I hear, talk about Tony, one way or the other. And I think it's just going to be a great place for Tony to have his own voice and for people to ask questions and to get answers directly from Tony. So I'm super excited and really honored that you and Tony are allowing me to kind of be part of the journey with you guys.
Yeah, no, it's fun. We're going to have a lot of fun with this and can't wait for more conversations for sure.
Yeah, on the CORSO Academy. So that's that segment. So don't forget to like and subscribe, share with all your friends, and those that don't know about Tony, share, and those that do also share, because we can't wait to share the Cane Corso with you guys.
Absolutely. Look forward to more.
Awesome.